Hey everybody, Kimberly here, and I can't wait to share with you what games I'm looking forward to in 2023. Now I have to tell you that I have played several of these games and or backed them on Kickstarter, and that's one reason why I'm looking forward to playing them is because I have already, or I know a whole lot about them because of my Kickstarter notifications and updates and things. So the very first game on my list, which is my number 10, is called Empire's End. And one of the reasons I got this was because it's designed by John D. Clare, and I really enjoy what he's done so far, Space Base. I also really enjoy Ready, Set, Bet from 2022. I think he's got some really cool stuff that just works for my brain. And so I think this Civ game is going to be super fun because there's reverse bidding, and it kind of feels like, I think described as like a no thanks kind of bidding, where it's like if you bid, then you say, I want to pass on this. And the passing is about the disaster phase, because these civilizations that players are going to essentially run or are in control of want to avoid disaster, but getting a disaster means that you're really, changing with the times and you're dealing with adversity, and it gives you a bonus as well, which I'm very interested in. So there's just a whole lot to like here with auction and with bidding. There is engine building, long-term planning with any Civ game, but I think it's going to be a faster Civ game, and that's why. I really like those mostly because I think my husband Lewis likes them as well. He's a big Civ fan. We recently played Western Empires, and if we could play even more of like just basic civilization, we would. So that's definitely on his radar, and I was excited to back that so that we could play a fun, fast Civ game that just sounds really cool. And again, I'm really putting a lot of faith in that designer for John D. Clare. So that is my number 10. My number 9 is also another game that I backed on Kickstarter this year called First in Flight. And First in Flight is just super cool. It looks fun because there's a press your luck. You're trying to fly this airplane and you want to go further, maybe higher, I'm not sure, by playing cards from your hand, but there is that, okay, I could bust kind of thing. So the more cards you turn over, the further and better you can go, but there's going to be a point where you bust. And I think that's just really fun. It reminds me of Mystic Vale. It reminds me of Living Forest, where you are pressing your luck by flipping over cards in your deck, trying to get more of the symbols you want to take your actions. So to me, that just sounds so cool. And I like the aviation theme to it, and it seems like it's a lighter game. So First in Flight just sounds really cool. There seems to be a race element, of course, to that. But it just sounds fun, and I think it'll fit in that 45-minute, maybe 60, but maybe 45-minute strategy game wheelhouse. And I'm just really looking forward to it. My number 8 is a game that I covered as a run-through for Rado's channel this year, and it's called Skyrise. Skyrise is really cool. I very much enjoyed it, and I know that Lewis did too. And so it's nice when you can find that game that works for everyone in your gaming group, because that means it's going to come out more often. Now in Skyrise, players have these buildings that they're essentially using to bid with as the number on the underneath side of it. And if you can outbid your opponent, which happens in turn order, then you're going to earn the property that your building is sitting in, along with any of the advantages that come in that area. So what happens is I will play a number out on a building, let's say 17, and then it'll just go in turn order around the table. And if you want to outdo my 17, you have to place it in an adjacent space to the previously built building. So no longer am I bidding for that space if someone else bids after me. Now they're bidding for the space next to it. So you're never bidding for the same space. You are essentially bidding for the space that you put yours in, and if no one outdoes yours, you get it. But after someone bids, that space is done. That space is never going to be won that round. It can maybe be won in a future round, but not that round. And so it's just such a mind bend for me. And you just keep snaking this around because every new bid has to be adjacent to the previous bid. And you're just going to get higher and higher and higher until everyone just kind of says, okay, fine, you can have it, you can have the bid. And they put their building down in the place that they ended on. and they get tokens, and tokens are going to come to your board, and the locations are also going to be color coded, which allows you to maybe win bonuses at the end of the game. And so there's just this really cool system of what do my opponents have to bid with, because it's all public knowledge, and what do I think they're going for? And so you're trying to just spread out along this cityscape that has a center and then 4 wings and 4 quadrants essentially. And it's just really cool. And I never thought I would like a bidding game like that. For me, it just feels, the winner takes all kind of thing. But the way that it works and the turn order aspect to it just makes it work. Like, I actually really appreciate it, and I think there's a whole lot of planning and strategy that goes into Skyrise. My number 7 is a game that I backed yet again, and I caught a glimpse of at Gen Con, but I still haven't had a chance to play, but I'm so excited about. It's the Fox Experiment by Elizabeth Hargrave, and I think it just looks really, really cool because what you're doing are these kind of scientific experiments. There's super cute foxes in here. There's a whole lot of dice in the game too, which I love some dice rolling, and dry erase boards as you start to, pair and see generations of different foxes with different features. And so I think it looks so cool, and I honestly cannot wait to get my hands on it. And to some degree, it seems like it's much faster. But in the Fox Experiment, the most recent generation of foxes are going to, be the top generation that then, of course, breed new pups. And so there's going to be this feel like in my father's work where generationally you're passing down particular traits or certain things that will stay with that line of foxes. And I find that to be a really fascinating choice that makes players make more interesting or smarter choices, because the campaign legacy style, that feel of it, leaves you with your decisions. It leaves you with the consequences of your choices. And I find that to be such a fascinating way to play as well. It just seems like it fits right in that 1 hour wheelhouse. And I think that sounds great with an opportunity for solo play, but it goes all the way to 4 players. So really looking forward to the Fox Experiment. Moving on to my number 6, I haven't played this game, but I have played the base game many times before with all of the expansions. What I'm talking about is Sagrada Artisans. This is a campaign legacy game that is Sagrada themed, and you will be playing Sagrada over and over and over again in a legacy that will change and grow and offer all these different goals and opportunities. And I just can't believe it's real. Like, I backed it so fast because I think Sagrada is just a fantastic window crafting game that, again, just kind of blew me away because of its abstractness. Like, I'm not big on abstract games, but I really took to Sagrada. And you have colored dice that are 6-siders, and you are placing those dice into this window, this stained glass window that you have in your player area that has colored dice requirements and pip requirements. And you're doing that through this open drafting Catan style where you start first player, goes around, last player drafts again before first player gets the last pick. So they get first and last, and then middle player gets the 2 middle picks. It's so easy, it's so fast, the turns go, it's a 10-round game, and you take your dice and then you just place them, and then you just roll new dice, do it again 10 times. So I'm super thrilled about what Artisans is going to offer as that continual gameplay, and I'm just so excited. Okay, we're halfway through my list, and I still have 5 fantastic games that I'm really looking forward to. So my number 5 is Shake That City. Shake That City is a game that I have received a preview copy for, and I have played so much. Like, it feels like a 2022 game to me, but I know it's being released in 23 in that first quarter. But if you can get your hands on it, it's great. And yeah, there's a really cool shaker that drops out the cubes, but honestly, the game is abstract. And you're playing down all of these city tiles in your own personal player board. But there's one catch. The cubes that are available represent the types of tiles that you get to place in your board. And the very first player that has turn order, they get to start, will take one type of the colors in that 3x3 grid, leaving everybody else at the table to take any of the other colors. So there's this real rub with the first 12 rounds of the game where I want that one, but then the first player took that one. So now I have to take something else, which is not the worst thing. You always get to change it around, but you get to put those cubes represent the tiles that you play on your board, and they have to be configured the same way that it is in the cube drop. So there's these wonderful restrictions and parameters and turn order that make the game really fun. And while it's 15 rounds, the game lasts half an hour. It's very fun. After the first player goes, play a simultaneous, and then at the end, the last 3 rounds, everybody can take whatever they want from the center, as long as just one type of color, which means one type of building. It's fun, it's nice, it's shareable, it's teachable, and again, I've said this about other games like Get On Board, but I can't win this game, and I really, really like it. My number 4 on this list is Terraforming Mars, the dice game. I don't know anything about it, I just want it. I want all things Terraforming Mars, and I think that, I think it's all fantastic. I love it. I want to terraform Mars. I want to build my cards. I want to do the cool things. And so for me, the dice game, yeah, like I supported that again without looking at anything, because the feel of those games is really, really fun. I love the race feature too, because there's the trigger. Okay, are we gonna use up all of the oxygen first? Are we going to raise the temperature first? Are we going to running out of oceans? Right? Those are the 3 things. So it just, I think it's going to be really cool. And really, when you go to BGG and you look up the description of Terraforming Mars, the dice game, it just says, this is the dice game version of Terraforming Mars, where you get to run a corporation and help in terraforming Mars. That's all it says. So again, I don't care. And plus, I love dice. So yay, I'm so excited. Moving on to my number 3. This is a cute game, and there's nothing wrong with cute games because it's actually a tile placement game, and there is a real time component to it. It is fit to print, and I am so excited about this Flat Out Games game because I got to run through the first round of the game at Gen Con, yay. And of course I backed it when it came out for backers. So it's just so cool because what you're doing is you are turning over tiles much like you do in Galaxy Trucker, one-handed. There's a bunch of tiles face down in the center and you flip one over and you can choose to put it on your news desk, which means you intend to add it to your board so that you can design your newspaper, or you can just leave it in the center face up. And you're just drawing these tiles and looking at them and seeing, well, how is it configured? How many spaces does it take up going vertically or horizontally? Is it really big? Is it small? Is it positive or is it negative? Is it a headline? Is it an ad? And so you're going to have all these different kinds of newspaper elements, and there are restrictions on how you're supposed to configure them and how they go into your newspaper. And it's all real time because once a player decides that they are finished taking pieces, they have put them all on their news table, they are then going to move into the second phase of the game. And this is all, again, real time. I might choose to do this before someone else, or I might choose to wait and do it after. But I will be playing these and figuring out where they go inside of my newspaper front page. And if I finish that and I'm done organizing, I will take from the center of the table the first player, meaning I finished first. And then everybody's going to take, second, third, fourth, whatever position they came in. And then you're going to score up and see how well you did, and you just play several rounds of that where your newspaper front page gets a little bit bigger. And every time you play, it's just so hard to gauge how much space you're taking up or how little space you're taking up. And the rules are super easy to get flummoxed, and so the rules are easy to mess up, but they're very basic and straightforward. I love the game. I can't wait to play it again. I can't wait to play through the entire game, like one whole game. I just played one phase, one round, and I loved it. So I can't wait. I love it, love it, love it. Even though it's spatial and timed, yikes. But it's just loads of fun. So fit to print, yes. Now for my last two, my number 2 and my number 1 game I'm looking forward to in 2023, it was a real question of which one I should put first, and I essentially put the number 1 over all of the games I'm looking forward to next year, simply because it's my favorite game ever. So I'm going to start with my number 2 and then move into that one. So my number 2 is a blend between RPG and board game, and it's just delightful. It's Kinfire Chronicles Night's Fall. And in this game, players take on a character that has a unique deck, and you will be using this deck to participate in adventuring and battle. And you use that deck for both. And then, of course, there's all that city stuff that you go and do when you're playing role-playing games, and you get to town and you get to eat food and, take naps and go and meet, like, the blacksmith and, upgrade your weapons and stuff. But in the adventuring and the battling phase, just so fun. And each mission that you go on as a team, which is a cooperative game, it takes about 45 minutes. So battle is the coolest because it's drawn from a bag. And so you draw from a bag, kind of like you do in Aeon's End, where you draw cards, but there's a set number of cards, and you're not sure who's going to be going next. Well, in this game, huge bag with little bits in it. And it could be me 2 times in a row. It could be my opponents 4 times in a row. It could be a wild gets drawn and we get to pick amongst all the characters at the table who really needs to go right now. And so you'll be moving around on this really cool spiral board that allows you to go to all these different kinds of locations. And adventuring is all about skill checks, and skill checks are based on characters' strengths. And it's just fun. It's fun. I fall into it. The characters are something else. The artwork is amazing. The story is amazing. And I can't wait to get my copy of Kinfire Chronicles. I'm looking forward to it so much. Okay, that leaves me with my number 1. And like I said, the reason this is number 1 on my list for most anticipated in 2023 is because I love this game. I have played this game the most of all the games I've mentioned because it is the Castles of Burgundy with all the special edition stuff. And yes, it was expensive, but Castles of Burgundy is my favorite game of all time, period, and I just could not back this. There is an insane amount of cool stuff in this box, and it's different from the anniversary edition. They've got tons of unlocked stretch goals. I can't even begin to tell you, but what it is essentially is it's got dice rolling, and the dice allow you to do your worker action based on the pips. And you are taking these tiles from the center that everyone is vying for, placing them into your hold, and then taking them from your hold and placing them into your city area. And you're building with these hexes. And these hexes are going to give you a variety of bonuses that are city bonuses, castle bonuses, they're going to be oceans or ships, and just all of them do different things, and I just adore it. I think it's a fantastic game. 5 rounds of 5 different turns each. You get 25 dice activations per game, and it just looks amazing. This souped up version. It's better playability. They've got 3D figures. They've got a multitude of maps so that every time you play, it's going to be different. They've got a lot of 3D elements, and they've got these fantastic bags to draw from. And so it's going to technically be, I think, 2 boxes. It's got the base box, and then it's got the stretch goals in a totally different box. So I'm just absolutely thrilled about getting my special edition Castles of Burgundy so that I can have a super cool souped up version of my all-time favorite game. Well, folks, that wraps up my most anticipated games for 2023, and I hope it gives you an idea of the kinds of games I'm looking forward to and the ones that I've already played that I'm just anticipating getting my copy of, because of the 10 games that I mentioned, 6 of them I have already played in some form or another, and then Terraforming Mars, the dice game, I feel like I've played already in some form or iteration, even though I haven't played the dice game, but I anticipate what it's going to be like and how much I'm going to appreciate it. Now, my other 3 of those are just games that I have backed and that I've read the description of and looked at those images for. So Really looking forward to it. There are some fantastic themes, mechanics, and games that are coming out. Some new, some old, some legacy. So a little bit of everything for everyone there. Some abstract games in there as well. So let me know what you're looking forward to in 2023 in the comments below. And I'll make sure that I provide links for all of these games in the description in case you want to go check them out, either as a late backer or just check them out on BGG to see what all the hubbub's about. All right, everybody, I will see you later. Happy New Year!